gruesome double murder discovered at a North Spokane house fire.
I was just hoping and praying that he would call or show up and it wouldn't really be him. And then it's him.
Now, the evidence found in the house has led police to a suspect and connected him to the two victims. Good evening. He's been in Spokane for just 2 weeks.
But tonight, Justin Crenshaw is in jail accused of killing 2 people in North Spokane. One of the victims, Tanner Pehl, worked with Crenshaw at a North Spokane restaurant. Police say Crenshaw casually dated the other victim, an 18-year-old senior at Meade High School named Sarah Clark. Firefighters found their bodies in a North Spokane house Thursday morning as they put out the fire in the home on East Elm and Highway 2. Tonight, KXLY4 in-depth coverage of the Elm Street murders. KXLY4's Karina Shagren is at the scene of the crime. KXLY4's Erik Loney is near the Spokane County Jail where Crenshaw is tonight. Erik?
Yeah, Crenshaw apparently had only been in Spokane for a couple weeks. Police tell us, or detectives tell us, that he came up here to meet his sister for the very first time. Apparently she was adopted by their mother, put up for adoption by their mother, and he found her on the internet on MySpace. He came up to meet her and decided to stay in Spokane, and now he's accused of killing her best friend and one of his co-workers.
Both victims had apparently been killed with a cutting instrument.
Justin Crenshaw had little to no response as the judge read the graphic details of the accusations against him. Court documents say Crenshaw told detectives he was with Tanner Pehl and Sarah Clark at Pehl's house Wednesday night. He said they were drinking, and he claimed he got sick, and then Pehl and Clark dropped him off at a friend's apartment alone. He claimed Clark was supposed to pick him up in the morning, but she never did. But detectives say Crenshaw stabbed and slashed the two to death and then tried to cover up the crime by burning down the house. Fire investigators say a fire was intentionally set on the stove in the kitchen, and then detectives found Crenshaw's bloody fingerprint on the back door. A friend of Crenshaw's, who did not want to be identified, told us on the phone he had a serious addiction to drugs.
I know that he was heavy into heroin, and it was about an everyday activity.
The friend told us he also bragged of stealing a car once and admitted stabbing a friend a couple years ago in a fight over drugs. Court documents say Crenshaw spent 18 months in juvenile detention for stabbing someone. The friend says Crenshaw could have a temper when he drank.
I was really surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't really shocked about it just from, his history.
Spokane County detectives are now searching possible dump sites for the clothes that Crenshaw allegedly was wearing when he committed these murders. Reporting live, Erik Loney, KXLY4.
Erik, thank you. Our in-depth coverage continues tonight with KXLY4's Karina Shagren at the crime scene. And Karina, investigators are still trying to piece together what happened.
They are. In fact, investigators were back at the home today. They have wrapped up their investigation, though, here at the home, and we're learning why this home took so long to process, why the evidence took so long to process. The two victims were brutally killed. According to court documents, there was blood found all over the home. We're really the only station that has had somewhat frequent contact with the family. In fact, I was just talking to them a couple of minutes ago, and they say while it's somewhat relieving there's a suspect behind bars, they can now only wonder what led up to the murders.
It's terrible to see someone like that being taken out of the world.
While investigators continue to process the crime scene today, Tanner Pehl's family remembers a young man who loved his music and loved to cook.
Wanted to be a chef, loves food, loves to cook.
He made his passion his short career. Pehl was a cook at Brooklyn's Woodfire Grill. That's where detectives believe he met Justin Crenshaw, who had been hired there just a couple of weeks ago. It's not believed the two were good friends, but the two had a mutual friend in Sarah Clark. The circumstances are still somewhat unclear, but detectives say sometime late Wednesday night, Crenshaw arrived at this home and stabbed and killed both Pehl and Clark.
He's such an upbeat, happy. It's just terrible to. I don't even know what to say. It's just absolutely terrible.
Cameron Pehl says his brother loved adventure and had a kind soul. Little is known yet about Clark tonight, although friends and family left flowers at the scene as a memorial. Investigators say the two suffered a brutal death. They found blood all over the home. It was a bloody fingerprint that tied Crenshaw to the crime. But even Crenshaw's arrest doesn't bring the family peace.
By speaking a few words and getting emotional, it just doesn't get anywhere near where it should with describing somebody like that.
And we know that Tanner Pehl had a large circle of friends. He loved to play guitar. He was a member of a band. And we're trying to learn more information about Sarah Clark. Again, we know that she was a senior at Meade High School, and she was one of 6 children. In the meantime, again, the investigation is wrapped up here. The sheriff's office left about an hour ago and returned possession of the home to the family. Reporting live, Karina Shagren, KXLY4.